You guys, we did it. It's our last video of the year. So our final study guide. Here we go. You are going to be solving for x for this first one, and you're going to need to cross multiply. So we will multiply these by each other. You will have 9 times 52 equals 39 times x minus 4. This you'll go ahead and distribute. These two you'll multiply. You'll get 468 equals 39x minus 156. We'll move things over to one side, so plus 156, and we will end up with 624 equals 39x. I'll then divide by 39 and divide by 39 and get x equals 16. All right. Well, for this next one, it wants to know if the polygons are similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the scale factor with their corresponding parts. And I'm going to just do smaller to bigger. So 1.6 over 3.2. And that's going to reduce down to 0.5. All right, and then I'm going to do 2.5 over 4.1, which reduces down to 0.60. These numbers are not the same, so no, they are not similar. And because they're not similar, there is no scale factor to give. Okay, now we want to go ahead and solve for x. All right, in order to do so, well, I'm going to go ahead and name this a variable, this segment right here, as y. So the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to do 15 over 20, and I'm going to set it equal to 6 over y, because I want to go ahead and figure out this whole side. So 6 over y. I'm going to cross multiply again, and I'm going to get 15y equals 120. Divide by 15, divide by 15. Y is going to equal 8. Well, I want the whole segment, so in order to find x, I'm going to do 20 plus 8 and get 28. So x, the whole side, would equal 28. Next up is this bad boy, and hopefully you made the change, or I made the change for you on the study guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve for x first. So to do that, I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to put it over x. Those are corresponding sides. And I'm going to set it equal to 9 over 3. All right, I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to get 9x equals 45. I'll divide by 9 and divide by 9 and get x equals 5. Perfect. There's one. Next up, I want to solve for y. So when solving for y, I'm going to go ahead and do 9 over 3 again, and I'm going to set it equal to y over 4. Oops, y over 4. I'm going to cross multiply. I'll get 3y equals 36. Divide by 3, divide by 3, y equals 12. Okay, and then moving on to our next page. All right, the 3 postulates and theorems to prove triangles are similar. If we remember these from the beginning of the semester, this is similar, not congruent. It was angle, angle, it was side, 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 and it was side, angle, side. Okay, now knowing those, we're going to tell whether these are similar or not and why. So what you want to do for these first is you want to go ahead and see if the proportions reduce to the same thing. We know that these are vertical angles, so those are congruent. So we're going to hope that this is side, angle, side. We're going to do 20 over 15, because those would be the corresponding sides. They're kind of twisted, you see. And we're going to hope that it equals or reduces down to 16 over 12. All right, well those, if you reduce both of them, reduce both to 4 over 3. And so yes, they work, and this would be side, angle, side. Okay, well right here, there isn't a ton of math to do. We can just see that, oh, 32 is congruent to 32. That's great. And 108 is congruent to 108. And because of angle, angle, two angles that are congruent, we know that the triangles must be similar. Okay, well, what can we use here? Which postulate can we use to prove the triangles are similar? Well, we would use side, side, side because we know all the sides, but in order to know that that was absolutely correct, we'd have to set up proportions and make sure that they all reduce to the same number. So I would start with 10 over 15, and then I would just do 4 over 6, 4 over 6, and then 14 over 21. And as I reduce these, I see that they all reduce to 2 over 3, 2 over 3, 2 over 3. So yes, those are similar, and it is because of side, side, side. All right, as we move down to number 9, I hope that you saw that we're not solving for BC, we're going to solve for DE. So I'm going to solve for AD first. This guy right here, I'll just go ahead and call it X. So I'm going to solve for AD first. I'm going to do X, that side, over 10, the lower piece of that triangle that kind of matches up, and then 21, the entire side over the entire base, 30. I cross multiply. I end up with 30x equals 210. Divide by 30, divide by 30, x equals 7. So AD, this segment, equals 7. And then I want to find DE, right? DE. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to take 21, the entire side, minus 7, and I would get 14. I know it's not really drawn to scale. This is the bigger piece and this is the smaller piece, but for all intents and purposes with this question, that's going to be your answer. All right, let's flip our paper. And the last one for this video, because this is a Chapter 7 video, is one of those wonderful tree questions. So, I have a tree, all right, and it casts a 30-foot shadow, all right. Then there is this person that's approximately 6 feet, and he casts an 18-foot shadow. All right, well, I want to know how tall this tree is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a proportion. I'm going to do x, the height of the tree, over however long its shadow is, 30 feet, and set it equal to the height of the person, 6 feet, over that person's shadow. I'll cross multiply. I'll get 18x equals 180. I'll divide by 18, divide by 18. X will equal 10 feet. And that is the end of your Chapter 7 portion of your study guide.